everybody, and welcome back to Amateur Cast, where I get you and your replays to be casted for my entertainment, and hopefully to help you improve a little bit as well. I am your host, ZookaMan, and we're going to be going into a TVZ for this cast. Without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce our players. In the top left-hand side of the map, we have TinySnowmen as our orange Terran player, and his opponent on the opposite side of the map. In the purple, in the Zerg, we have Boshie, or Boshie. I think it's Boshie. Whatever I say is probably going to be wrong anyways. That's kind of the points of the caster's curse. So a few things I want to get out of the way here before the cast gets too far into it. Yes, things are a little bit different than the last time I produced a cast on my laptop, so things are going to be a little bit off as far as the resolution and a couple of like the bit rate settings on OBS, all that like kind of fine-tuning stuff. But my desktop has a few things that we're going to be putting into that in hopefully the next couple of days. So before the next cast, hopefully, I'm crossing my fingers, I will be able to be on our desktop and we'll have all our resolution settings up. We'll be able to pump some stuff up, and we'll be able to produce higher quality casts, which is always something that I'm striving for. Of course, then there's my whole me thing that's going to be, of course, the problem. You can't upgrade yourself, but, you know, I digress. TVZ matchup. Legacy of the Void. I haven't done a whole lot in Legacy of the Void. I have to admit, I took a big long for pretty much the last YouTube video I did was one of the last times that I really did any sort of formal casting event. I started school, so I got busy, and all. There's a lot of other reasons and such like that. But we're getting back into it. Hopefully we'll be able to still predict some things. And that things won't be completely different. I do know one thing for sure, though. Natural expansions are really, really popular earlier on with both players, or with all the races, but particularly in this matchup, and especially on longer maps like this, which I can't really remember the name of this map. I've done so many like tests and configuring and all that I completely forgot it. Reaper is going to be coming out. We're going to see enough links to be able to pretty much take that out. One link is able to be taken care of, and I just realized I have my life bars still on. Oh well, we'll have to worry about that at a different time. We'll have to remember that next time we do a sort of cast. Can I? Yeah, I don't think I can actually do that from here. Oh well, we will just have to kind of run with it. So we're seeing a factory coming out, along with a couple of extra barracks. We do have a tech lab on here, so this could be a switcheroo for maybe siege tanks or cyclones. I believe the cyclone requires a tech lab. Pretty sure it requires a tech lab because I played a game a little while ago, and I don't think you could do it with reactors. We could be seeing those. I'm not sure if that's necessarily the best idea. The cyclones, I mean, because speedlings do have a speed advantage, I believe, although we do not have speed on its way yet. I'm not exactly sure what that idea is. We do have a third base coming up here for a Zerg player, so we could be seeing a 3-base all-in with Roach Ravager, which I believe is something that is very popular in the matchup. It was at least being done when I stopped playing or when I stopped casting. I think it's still kind of in the meta, and I think it still can kind of be done. We'll have to keep an eye on this and see if that's exactly what our Zerg player is going for. Stim is on its way. TinySnowmen has a wall kind of started here with one supply depot. Could use to throw some extra buildings down here at the front, because it is really easy for Zerg, especially in Legacy of the Void, when the economy has been ramped up so much, that the production has been ramped so much, that you can have a really big problem with lings and roaches and a lot of units just swarming into your base if you don't have that wall set up in time. That being said, excuse me, I had to sneeze. That being said, we are going to be seeing a siege tank coming on down, so if you can get that wall taken care of, you can put a siege tank or two in the back here and make sure that pretty much anything coming up this ramp is going to have a little bit of a bad day. I believe, though, Ravengers have a pretty significant range, so they can maybe, if they're up on the ramp, be able to reach siege tanks behind the wall. I'm not entirely sure about that. we'll have to kind of see if Ravagers are what the plan is. Maybe we're going to be seeing just a really heavy macro game, possibly. Layers coming out along with double Evos from a Boshie, so I'm gonna guess it's probably not an all-in at this point. He's grabbing a second gas at his main base. I believe he has 3 and 4 down in his natural, and I'm assuming 5 and 6 will probably wait until he has his tier 3 tech, either his Spire or his Ultralisk Cavern or anything along those lines. I believe those are the 2 big ones. I do like how he's going for these Spore Crawlers in the mineral line just to be safe, as Liberators are kind of a big threat in the Terran versus anything matchup, so it's always good to have a couple of anti-air kind of turrets, I guess is the best way to say it, to be able to defend against that. It's really good to play that a little bit safe, because the one game that you don't have those Spore Crawlers in your mineral line is the time that your opponent's going something like crazy, like a 6 Liberator rush, and it's just destroying all your drones, and it's always the worst game possible when that happens. We do have Glowry Constitution on its way, along with Premiumized Carapace off of the hatchery, I believe. Premiumized Carapace is the movement speed. Goodness gracious, I am really rusty right now. We have 5 and 6 coming up for gases right now. Roaches are being pumped out towards the natural expansion. I'm assuming that we're probably going to see a push out here soon from him. Meanwhile, back at the base, we have Terran player going up onto his +1. Is only on 1 engineering bay, so it's going to take him a little while longer to be able to get those upgrades. But he does have his wall finished right now. Siege tanks are not sieged up, so if there was some sort of Ling kind of move up into this ramp, or roaches, or basically anything, he's going to kind of run into a problem of his siege tanks are not going to be able to do quite as much damage as they should. One Overlord did get kind of chased out here by a Marine. That's going to kind of live at a couple of HP points, and it's going to be perfectly fine. Lots of roaches from Boshie on the map right now. Looks like he might be deciding to move out here in just a wee little bit, and only 11 Ravagers. That is a crazy amount of gas. If you were paying attention up here at the gas count, oh my gosh, that drop was beautiful. That's the I have built a Spire, and I am building 20 Munilus sort of drop. Although maybe not quite as crazy. 4th base is on its way as these units are moving out, and TinySnowmen might be in a little bit of a problem here. He doesn't have his siege tank sieged up, and these units are going to be coming into the natural expansion. It's going to kind of be a little bit difficult. Here come the Ravager shots, destroying quite a bit. Actually not able to get even any supply depot. Here come the siege tanks going to be sieging up. Going to make it a little bit harder for him to be able to take care of that. Actually, I think we just lost a couple of units to the siege tank fire. I believe that's what I just saw. We lost one supply depot for sure, which is going to cause a little bit of supply problem. There are a couple widow mines out here just to help defend. 4th base is about halfway done. We do have hive tech on the way, which means that Ultralisk could hit the field very shortly here. And as anybody playing against Zerg, even a Zerg player playing against Zerg, it is crazy how strong Ultralisks are and how much damage they can do, especially now that the economy is a lot different than it was in Heart of the Swarm. We'll be seeing Boshie pushing on him here, going to be actually losing quite a few units really quickly here, of course, to the movements, but we do lose all those siege tanks to the Ravager fire, and Boshie is just going to be able to mop up the rest of these units. TinySnowmen is not able to keep up with his opponent, and I think Boshie might be able to get the natural expansion here, might even be able to claim the game with this Roach Ravager push, this is just insanely strong. I had not realized how crazy these Roaches and Ravagers were if they hit that correct timing, because not even Siege Chain can really be too effective against them, because the Ravagers will just kind of snipe them down. Boshie going to be pressuring on into the natural expansion, going to be finishing up the last remains of these units, and I mean that may just be that, folks. Not really going to be having too much else to go on in. A little bit. We're going to be pushing up onto the 3rd base. Probably going to be getting that out pretty easily. TinySnowmen still trying to kind of get this taken care of. He has Liberators on the way. But I think that honestly at this point the Roaches and the Ravagers together can probably just barrel through the natural expansion, barrel through the main base, And really with 4 bases behind this and, well, upgrades, that's pretty much the only other thing that's coming out here. Liberators are going to be spawning them out and are going to be trying to take out these roaches and ravagers, but they are much too mobile to be pinned down by such silly, childish Terran matters. Zerg is going to be pushing up into the main base and is going to be trying to finish this off, and I think that might just be that. There just isn't any units to be able to continue on with this, and there comes the GG from both players, and that is all that she wrote for this one, folks. Alright, now as always is the time that we look at what each of these players could have done better so that they and you can learn a little bit for next time. So let's start with our unfortunate defeater, the Terran player. Let's start with what he could have done better. I think the big problem here was that he didn't have the information that he possibly really needed to be able to properly make a decision against his opponent. Because of the way that Zerg as a race works, it can be very, very difficult to deal with them when they have units and when they have tech. And when you are not prepared for the tech, then you can find yourself in a world of hurt. And I think that was really the big problem we had with our Terran player. He didn't scout anything of what his opponent was doing. He didn't scout a roach warren, he didn't scout the base count, so he had no information to what his opponent was doing, and that just gave Boshie the perfect opportunity to go with this roach ravager push, which really kind of cut off his opponent and, well, pretty much won him the game because his opponent didn't really do much to be able to stop that. As far as Boshie, he did play a very well game. I would say probably work a little better on the creep spread. I would have also suggested he did have the hive out. He did have upgrades going out. He does have a infestation pit. Okay, there's the ultra scaven. I was going to say, make sure you drop down additional tech behind any sort of attack like this, unless you are 100% sure that you can defeat your opponent. And even then, you should always be continuing to tech up as a Zerg player, because the more tech that you have, the greater your ability to be able to catch your opponent off guard. Because, say he had a Spire at this point and his opponent was able to repel this Roach Ravager push, he could quickly throw in 9, 10, 12, just go for a huge Meaningless Squitch, go out across the map, and just basically wreck his opponent because he can't really keep up with it. That's also another reason why you really need to make sure that you scout correctly against a Zerg player, because it can be really, really quickly that they switch from one thing to another, and if you're not prepared for that, sometimes that just means that you end up losing the game. So folks, that'll be it for this one and for me. A few real quick things before we go. If you liked this cast, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. If you would like to get your game casted, you can go to the description box underneath this video where my email will be located, as well as a link to the subreddit Casted, which is where I got this replay, and where I get most of my replays for amateur cast at the very least. And it's a great community for finding casters and for getting replays casted and enjoyed, basically. It's a really good community, and I highly, highly suggest you go ahead and go check it out. Besides that, more content will be hopefully coming soon. Like I said, desktop is going to be finished hopefully soon, or at least improved, so it will be able to be casting at a higher quality, and I'm super excited to kind of get back into this. Took a long break, and I'm super, super excited to get back into this, because I always end up missing casting when I take long breaks from it. That all being said, I think that'll be it for this one, guys. So, thank you all for joining me tonight, and we will see you on the next cast. Take care, guys.